All right, let's talk about one of the hardest parts of trading, discipline. But you know what? Forget about just trying harder or having more willpower. Today, we're going to build an actual system, an architecture that basically forces you to be more disciplined. So let's kick things off with a question that I bet hits close to home for a lot of us. Why is it so ridiculously easy to overtrade? You know that feeling, right? Maybe you had a huge win or a frustrating loss, and the next thing you know, you're just clicking buttons, jumping into trades you know you shouldn't be in. It's maddening. But what if the reason for it isn't what you think? This quote right here, this is the key to everything we're about to cover. It flips the whole problem on its head. See, overtrading isn't some deep personal flaw. It's not about you being weak. It is a system failure. It's what's supposed to happen when a tired brain has endless options and absolutely zero guardrails. Okay, before we dig into building that system, just a quick but very important heads up. All of this is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Digital assets are risky, so please, always do your own research. Right, so let's really dive into that core idea. The goal here is to stop blaming yourself, the trader, and start fixing your trading system. Honestly, just making that mental switch is half the battle. And this lays it out perfectly. We all get caught up in the belief on the left. I just need more willpower, I messed up. But the reality, the real cause is on the right. Your brain gets tired. Decision fatigue is real. Emotions creep in. And without a solid system to protect you from yourself, overtrading is the most predictable thing in the world. So, what's the fix? Here it is, a two-part framework we're calling the Anti-Overtrading System. Part 1 is all about permission rules. You have to earn the right to put your capital at risk. And Part 2 is about cooldown triggers. Think of them as automatic circuit breakers that just shut you down when things get heated. You really truly need both of these. One without the other just doesn't work. Okay, let's break down Part 1 of the system, the permission checklist. I want you to think of this as your pre-flight check, or maybe the bouncer at the club door. You don't get in unless you meet every single requirement, no exceptions. This is your gatekeeper. Number 1, can you actually define the trade setup in one simple sentence? 2, do you know the exact price where this idea is proven wrong? 3, is your position size calculated based on your risk before you even think about entering? 4, have you actually checked the market conditions? Spreads, liquidity. And 5, the big one, do you have a plan for what to do if it wins and what to do if it loses? If you can't check off all 5 of these, the rule is simple, you don't trade, period. And here's how you make it tangible. You create a simple template, just like this one. Put it on a sticky note, in a notebook, wherever. The power of this is its simplicity. If you can't fill this out in, say, 30 seconds, then the trade idea is just not clear enough to take. It's a filter that weeds out all the garbage trades before they can cost you money. So that permission slip gets you into a trade cleanly. But what happens when you're in the heat of the moment? When emotions are running high and you're tempted to just throw the rules out the window? Well, that's where Part 2 comes in. These are your cooldown circuit breakers, your non-negotiable automatic emergency brakes. And here are your 4 main triggers. First, a simple baseline. 10 minutes off after every trade, win or lose. This just stops you from immediately jumping back in on pure emotion. Second, if you break a rule on your checklist, you're done. 2-hour cooldown, go for a walk. Third, the loss streak trigger. This is your revenge trading killer. 2 losses in a row, and you shut it down for the day. That's it. And finally, the euphoria trigger. After your biggest win of the week, you take a mandatory 30-minute break. Why? Because being overconfident can be just as dangerous as being tilted. Now, having these amazing rules is great, but they can't just float around in a vacuum. You need to give them a structure to operate in. You can't just apply them randomly over a 16-hour screenathon. You need a real routine with clear boundaries. Think about it. A lot of us overtrade simply because the trading day never actually ends. It's just this endless stream of candles. So try this instead. A focused, 60 to 90-minute session where you are only hunting for your absolute best A-plus setups. Then, a mandatory break. Get away from the screen. If you want, you can have an optional second session later, but the key is having a defined start and a defined end. This is what prevents that decision fatigue that kills performance. And here is such a powerful little hack to simplify your thinking in the moment. Give yourself a simple language to grade your trades. Is it an A setup? The checklist is perfect, the market looks clean, great, that's a trade. Is it a B setup? The checklist passes, but maybe execution is a little sloppy. Well, you can either trade it smaller or just skip it. And a C setup, anything unclear, anything missing, it is an automatic no trade, every single time. Simple as that. Okay, so we've covered the permission slip to get in, the circuit breakers to stop you, and the daily structure to work within. Let's wrap this all up into one clear, actionable system. Here it is, your new playbook. 1. Stop blaming yourself. Reframe overtrading as a system problem. 2. That 5-point checklist. Use it before every single trade. 3. Enforce those 4 cooldown triggers like your trading account depends on it, because it does. 4. Define your sessions. Have a start time and an end time. And 5. Grade your setups, A, B, C, to make sure you're only fishing for the highest quality opportunities. And let's end on this note because this is really the whole point. The goal of all of this, the checklists, the triggers, the routines, it isn't to help you trade more. It's to force you to make fewer, but much, much cleaner decisions. And that, right there, is where consistency really comes from.